everybody. It's the end of August and I wanted to give an update on how the cutting gardens have gone this season thus far. It's been a little while since I've had time to post here, and I'm only going to do YouTube videos when I feel like I have the heart for it. And so here I am. I'm really excited to share the progress, all the learnings, because it's been such an amazing season. So this last fall, about a year ago, we established a new cutting bed here, this one, and since then have added another one behind it, so I'll show you in more detail in a little bit here, but way back there. And we also have a cutting bed in the fenced in pasture garden right there, that part of the garden. So there's 3 of them. They have been highly productive this season. I feel like I'm maximizing everything I can be doing, and what an amazing learning curve, and how rewarding, and just it's just been wildly successful. And here are our garden pups. Emma, Arlo, hi guys, say hi. Hello. So this one here, put next to the little fencelet out here in the pasture, we have this whole section. And I gotta say, this is my first year doing this. My review of doing this method with the plastic, amazing. This is an amazing method if you're going to do cut flower growing for yourself, or if you're going to sell in any regard. And it's widely publicized by the experts, lots of great resources online. So I could not be more grateful for that, because I have learned a ton, and this has been wildly successful. So you can see I've got all sorts of different plantings, and in fact the open holes you see here I just weeded. There's all these weeds. Some of these holes have been planted 2 times already since the beginning of the season, back in March, and just wildly productive. I think I see a weed, speaking of the devil. Oh, don't you hate that? You think you have it all weeded and then you don't. But what I really love about how this garden is looking right now is I have a blank canvas, and it's nice and clean and tidy, and I get to put in my fall plantings now. So I'm really excited. I got some seedlings going. I'm probably going to put a lot more snaps into the open holes here, and the snaps this year have performed so well. You can see I've still got some ready to harvest tomorrow, and it's just enough to fill the bouquets that I'm doing at the farm stand. And then this was my next section that I had planted a little bit later into the season. I think I planted these like earlier, maybe June or July. I started to not document them anymore, which always happens. I get unorganized. But they were my next wave, if you will. So I've got Gomphrena going on, bachelor buttons. They're looking nice and fresh because this is a whole new flush here. And then Nigella. These just started to open up and bloom. A huge fan of the Love and Abyss Nigella. So amazing. And then this is my last section. So they're coming along good. I've got an open area here to put plantings in that just, the seeds I put down just didn't take. So I'm going to do another plant there, another replant. And then I've got Gomphrena and some open holes. I think that is more bachelor buttons maybe. I don't always label my stuff, and that's fine. I'll know what it is when it blooms. And then some baby's breath. Back around the front here, a cool thing that happened, they're all spent now, but you'll have to trust me. I put down a whole bunch of wildflower seed mix here last year. It was beautiful. I actually used a lot of them in bouquets. And then this year, all the Rudbeckia came back. So all these black-eyed Susans just filled in all on their own, and it's just so darn pretty. Right on the end of that fencelet here. So that made me really happy. Bride of the wedding, if you will, this year. My favorite plant are these Lisianthus. And they were the ones that I was really excited to try growing. Graduate level work, as they say, and I have achieved my goal. Woohoo! I don't have a ton of them. I figured, I'll do a set of them, see how it goes. And then if it goes well, because this is 8 months in the making, almost 9 now, then I'll do it again. And I'm definitely doing it again. So these deep purple are the ones that I grew from seed, planted December 28th, 2024, inside by me. And they look pretty good. They're just smaller. And then these lighter lavender and peach are the ones that I bought. So these are the plugs. So really well worth growing if you want something really interesting and a little bit challenging to grow. I highly suggest, if you don't do seed, do the plugs. Order them from a seed house that does this, because they are so worth it. They're very hardworking, beautiful plants. Another thing that I love about these, that as I did my research, so many flower farmers love about these, is they have a very generous harvest window. So as I'm studying and learning, you cut off the first bloom so that the rest of the cluster on a stem, because there's a whole bunch of blooms on a stem, it will encourage them to start progressing along in color and bloom. And you can really harvest these when you want to. It's very convenient for the gardener. Some of these have been blooming for a week and a half or 2 weeks for me. And I can choose to snip them when I want to put them in bouquets. So it's really forgiving, and another reason why they're really worth the effort. We head down here, progressing along the fence line. Cute man, I asked him one morning, I said, can you tell me up a bed for zinnias? And he did, and it was amazing. We used the tractor and just zipped right along, and he instantly made a garden for me in like 30 minutes, which is so great. And I've got all these awesome zinnias coming in. Didn't do the best job of weed management. I missed my window here to keep the in between the rows clean, so that's not great. I'm sure I would have a little bit more robust output here if I had stayed on top of it, because the great thing about zinnias, not only are they the easiest flower to grow along with sunflowers, once you get them established and you keep the weeds out of the way, they will take over the bed and prevent weeds themselves. They're really good at that. So weed management's really easy with them. Like, you don't really have to do much once they get more established. I just missed the window on these ones. So whoopsie, oh well, it happens. But the important thing is we have blooms, and they are stunning, and they're just starting to come in. The other reason that they're not as full yet, and I'm crossing fingers that they'll get fuller as the season goes along and I keep fertilizing, is because I did cut these back. I pruned them back. You're supposed to cut them back at about 6 inches so that they really branch out and put off a lot more blooms. They become essentially a bush. But so far, they've been wonderful. And I have enough variety in here between the multicolor mix that I have from Harris Seed, and also this awesome Queen Lime Orange mix. I just absolutely love how fancy and pretty these are. I pull from those 2 cutting beds when I'm harvesting cut flowers for my bouquets. And then the big staple, the big focal point are the sunflowers. So this garden is deliberately fenced in. It's huge. It's almost a 1/3 of an acre. And this is where we have the pumpkins, squash, sweet corn, Brussels sprouts, and we had peas in the spring, early summer. And the reason that this bed is separate from the other beds is because this kind of stuff gets eaten by deer and critters. So it has to be fenced in order to be successful. You can see I've got a lot of successions of sunflowers going, so these are well on their way. And as we go down the line here, we got lots of tomatoes. Woo! Chill, baby girl. You can see we have an awesome assortment of them. And I've done both branching varieties as well as the single stem varieties. So I get a nice mix of bigger, medium, smaller, for interesting bouquets, and lots of different color varieties. They're so, so beautiful. And again, sunflowers are one of the easiest things to grow. The only challenge is critters, because they are delicious. They're like a salad to a deer or to a rabbit. This is my first succession at the back. You can see the plants, they get kind of crispy and dried out over the season, but they're still producing and I'm still getting blooms. And as long as they are coming along really well and they're fresh and stunning, they are very harvestable and enjoyable. So on this side, my plan, I just drilled holes a couple weeks ago here along this fence that we just put up. You can see all the pumpkins are just climbing right up the fence, right through. I'm trying to reroute them so they don't take things over because they are very robust. They look amazing. Oh my gosh, look at them all. There's tons of them. Oh, you guys, you gotta leave room for my sunflowers. So that's really funny. I'm gonna reroute this one while we talk. So, oh look, they're coming up. I came out here to check as I'm talking to you on this video. Oh, this is great. So first time I'm seeing, we've got really good emergence on a bunch of them. I don't expect them all to come up. You know, like anything else, you're not gonna have 100% germination, but these are a little bit more out in the sun, and they're sunflowers. They are full sun plants, so just rerouting these. I expect a decent amount of emergence. Down here, not as much. Oh, there's one. So this is my last crop of sunflowers. About a 50-day maturity on them. So I should be seeing blooms around end of September. And my idea is that we have another fence here to support them, just like this fence line has supported these so well. And I do have other ones that I planted along this fence line, and they're coming up. Yeah, if I look down here, I can see some of them. They're coming along. The trouble, and what I've learned this year, is when I have this many sunflowers on a fence line, it creates shade. And so the crop that I planted here, they're getting a little overtaken with weeds, but also they're just not coming along as fast because there's, I think, too much shade. Those things where the plant will grow, but ideally it would like sun, so it's not gonna grow as fast or maybe as tall. So it's not as ideal. You might be wondering, why do I have tomatoes out here? Well, actually, I clearly need to harvest some of them. Wow, they're weighing down the fence. That's pretty cool. I use them in my arrangements. So they are actually part of the cutting garden proper because these branches are stunning and they hold up really well and they're very interesting. Sometimes they have little tiny green tomatoes on them, depending on the branch cut that I do. And they smell super good because if you ever smell a tomato plant, you rub the stem, oh, it's heavenly. One more pass through here. So on the right side, we've got herbs. I have sage coming up. If it gets tall enough, I would love to put it into bouquets. I have purple basil. I have other basils. I think this is a cinnamon basil. The thing I wanted to show you that I'm excited about on this side of the fence are the dahlias. So they are looking really robust. I've harvested one bloom so far. You can see they're about to do their thing. Oh, look at this one. Look at how pretty. Ooh, gorgeous. So my hope is that I'll be able to cut these and put them in bouquets as soon as they start to bloom here in short order. You can see we've got blooms that are about to progress. Now, it's been an amazing season. I have figured out a lot more of what I want to be doing with cut flowers, selling them, sharing them, and I feel like I'm hitting my stride. So I'm really grateful that I've been doing it and that I keep learning, and it's just a continual journey of joy. I would say the number one thing that has been the best element this year, the best game changer this year, is hands down the plastic mulch fabric. So this stuff, amazing. I never had done it before in this fashion. I didn't quite know what to think. I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot. It's a complete game changer. It has saved me so much time. I used to spend gobs and gobs of hours and wear and tear on my back weeding. The hypothesis this season was, if I put this down, it's going to save me a bunch of time so I can reallocate it to other things, focus on harvesting, focus on planting, successions, and learning, and that is exactly what happened. So my plan worked. and I'm just super pumped. And I want to end the video today with this garden. I can't zoom out fully when I'm in that selfie mode. Check this out. So this is not only a beautiful garden to frame the bee Alice Chalmer tractor, we call it the bee garden. This is our newest garden. It's just so pretty. Look at all the zinnias. This is like robust zinnia city when they are in their full glory. So this is not only a landscape beautiful kind of garden, it is a functional cutting garden. So I will start harvesting this for bouquets, and what a joy, what a beautiful place to be to cut flowers. And there's gobs of butterflies and hummingbirds that come through here. And then also I will prune back parts of it because I haven't done that yet. That's why they look really tall, unlike the other zinnia garden. But these plants aren't as strong because they haven't been cut back. So I'll start cutting back sections of it, and then they will come back and be more bushy and robust. But in the meantime, just, oh my gosh, wow. Speaking of butterflies, ugh. This is why I do what I do. This is gardening right here. Gotta love it.